So Caliban, you finally show your face. Just in time for me to blow it off.
It's fitting you chose to hide in this abandoned movie theater, Mika and Hana, because for you, the show's over.
Big talk, but soon you'll be as dead as all the well-loved celebrities we lost this year.
When I'm done, they'll be cleaning you off the walls like COVID-19.
Wait, where's your face mask?
I thought we were going to fight outside.
Oh, come on!
I mean, if the murder hornets aren't out there still.
Take this.
You want to watch HBO Max on my phone?
I'll start cooking some beans in this old boot.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and apocalyptic views every Monday on the Just Enough Trope Network.
Won't the 5G kill us? Shh. Hailing frequencies open, and welcome to Star Trek Discoverage, the live podcast that boldly goes into excruciating detail about this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery. I'm your host, Aaron Coker, aka Caliban, and I'm a responsibility hoarder without the responsibility. Joining me on the show as usual is my co-host. She's also the co-host of the Generations Geek podcast, a more or less family-friendly celebration of geekdom. It's Ella Pearson. Ella, welcome back to Discoverage.
Thank you.
Ella, it's great to have you here in the 14th week of 23 weeks of Trek.
It is great to be here. This is the only national news that I'm paying attention to.
This is the
14th week.
Right. It's weird. Nothing else is going on. It's a real.
It's great that I'm so bored everywhere else, because then I can wait for Star Trek, and that, adds a little bit of excitement, a little bit of spice into my week.
Yeah, it's a total dead calm. I don't know what's going on the national stage, but loving that Trek.
We are the only entertainment.
Yeah, so we're glad people could tune in. There was one other thing. We're going to have a somewhat abbreviated show today because we got to sort of blast it out and get out of here. But I wanted to mention a news story, or at least a development that I saw on Twitter. As a lot of people know, New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez defended her seat in the election this year. And she was on Twitter the other day, as she often is, talking with fans and Twitter users. And the topic came up if she would be doing a Twitch stream again soon. I believe that she was twitching and doing Among Us, or I think she was doing The Last of Us 2 a while back too. And she said that she was going to think about it. She would make it happen soon. And she asked people for topics, they'd want to hear her talk about. And author and friend of the show, Manu Sadia, who is at Trekonomics on Twitter, said, "You should talk about Tuvix. Talk about the decision that Janeway made, and we can defend it and argue over whether it was right or not." And she's like, "That one's pretty deep." And she said that she would have to rewatch it, but it seemed like a solid idea.
Are you serious?
Yes.
AOC said that on Twitter?
Yeah, and so Brian Michael Scully is an actor and a writer, and he has a writers' discussion group that talks about things like that. He already had the episode on its agenda, and so he invited her to join that. And I don't know if she's accepted yet, but it looks like we might get a little civics lesson possibly from AOC about Twitter. Where am I living? What planet is this? What century is it? That's what I want to know, but it sounds pretty cool.
So often it's like, it's the right place. It's the right century. AOC gets on, plays Among Us. I'm like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
There's sometimes there's a moment where I'm like, yeah.
I didn't watch that stream, but I heard that she was not good at the subterfuge that's required to be the imposter. And it's like,
I watched
okay.
Some highlights, not too much, but
sure.
Yeah, she was
bad.
It's so hard. Your first few games are so hard.
Yeah, well, your first few terms are so hard too. I kind of want that quality in my politician, like somebody who doesn't have that subterfuge.
She also was playing with the best Twitch streamers on the planet.
Yeah, right.
She got on there just like killing it.
So I'd be fascinated to hear her argument, and it's another one of those things that I don't know how I feel, but I definitely want to hear how she feels about that situation or what she would have done. Just incidentally, because this is a big discussion, Kate Mulgrew joined in, and she's like, I did the right thing. I totally defend my actions. So Janeway still not sorry about Tuvix. No sleep lost over that.
I kind of, I'm not going to voice an opinion, but he was kind of creepy. Janeway, I don't know. I don't know about I don't know about all that.
Yeah. I think Janeway has neck problems because she doesn't look back. You know what I mean? She makes a decision and she sticks with it.
I'll be in that nebula.
Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah.
I have never done anything wrong in my entire life.
Yeah. She's the one that pulls up to the McDonald's and orders the single black coffee and drives away. Yeah. Well, tonight we've seen the 4th episode of Star Trek Discovery Season 3 entitled Forget Me Not, and we're here to break it down for you. And before we start, as always, we're setting a course for the spoiler zone listeners, so be warned. We're glad you've decided to join us, but if you haven't seen the episode, spoilers are incoming. The official synopsis for Forget Me Not is Burnham and Adira visit the Trill homeworld while Saru's efforts on the Discovery to help the crew reconnect yield surprises. Long sentence. This episode is written by Alan McElroy and Chris Silvestri and Anthony Marinville, who all have written previously for the show. It was directed by Hanelle M. Culpepper, who, of course, became the first woman to direct a Star Trek pilot or premiere when she directed the first 2 episodes of Star Trek Picard. There's no stardate given for this episode, and we even have a chance to. We open with a medical officer's log, but it's just a supplemental. So I love it when they don't want to do a date.
Isn't it always?
And they just say supplemental. And it's like, supplemental to what? Like, we didn't hear the first part. But no,
they're like, this one's my diary.
Yeah, right. Yeah, personal log. Suffice to say, it is in the future of the 32nd century. Here's some facts from our memory banks about the episode. This is the first time we've seen the Trill homeworld on screen since the episode Equilibrium from DS9, and it's also the first time that we have once again seen the Caves of Makala, which is like the coolest jacuzzi sales floor in the world, right? This is like if you've got a little extra money and you really want to move these babies, you send them to the Caves of Makala. Show them what they can have.
Oh, my God. Are you not a little, when Burnham took, one step in that water, first of all, when people in TV shows get in water with all of their clothes and their boots, so why don't you take her boots off? But I was like, I don't like opaque water. I'm terrified of the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm deeply terrified of the ocean. My roommate keeps making fun of me lately because the other day I was like, "Oh, I'm afraid of water," and she keeps being like, "Ella, oh no," and then turning the sink on. But I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But it was nice and shiny,
Yeah, that's true. That's such a great observation.
It looked clean. It looked clean.
I got to get in there. Oh, one sec. Take my boots off and then step in. Yeah. I don't want wet socks on. You know how it feels.
What to do if you're drowning? I mean, maybe I'm just deeply terrified of the ocean, which I am. But if you're drowning, you're supposed to kick your shoes off because they're heavy.
Right. Yeah. You don't want those on. The oceans of Trill, speaking of water and of oceans, are not purple in this episode, although to be fair, they weren't really purple in Equilibrium either, so I don't know what Dax was smoking when she said that Trill had purple oceans in the episode Past Tense Part 1.
I want what she's having.
She's terrified that they're going to go to Trill and see that the oceans aren't purple. She's like, I just wanted to be cool. Purple oceans.
I was trying to be impressive. We have birdfish.
Yeah, right. Just mention the birdfish. Super impressive. The guest stars for this episode include Annabelle Wallis, who reprises her role as Zora, the voice of Zora in this episode. She trades off, of course, in one particular scene, along with regular Discovery computer voice actress Julianne Grossman. Kenneth Welsh appears in this episode as Senatal. Welsh is a longtime character actor in film and television, possibly best known for the character of Wyndham Earle in the 2nd season of the ABC drama Twin Peaks. He also played Dr. John Watson to Matt Frewer's Sherlock Holmes in 4 Hallmark Channel TV Sherlock Holmes films, which I have not seen, but I've heard that they're fun. They're good.
I would kill to watch a Hallmark Channel Sherlock Holmes movie.
Yeah, a lot of flat lighting and
Max
rom-coms. Max Headroom is Sherlock Holmes.
Just a rom-com.
Yeah, right. He learns a lesson and, kisses a blonde at the end.
Yeah.
This episode introduces, of course, the character of Great Tall, played by Ian Alexander. Alexander is best known for previously playing the role of Buck Vu on the Netflix series The OA. And speaking of The Last of Us 2, Alexander also provided voice work and motion capture for the character of Lev in that game. Really quickly, I only bring up theories because I have one. We talked alternate timeline. I don't think that's a thing. The burn is mostly answered. And I'm getting a beep from Ella. Ella, are you there?
Oh, here I am. Sorry.
You're there. Okay. All right. Good.
I'm here.
Just in time for me to say,
okay.
I think with, the revelation in this episode that, the sphere data is there and working in Discovery. Do you think that Calypso is set after season 3 and that the crew leaves Discovery behind in the future? The only real cure for their homesickness and their PTSD is returning to their own time and their families.
Oh, like they ditch the ship and go home?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, if they got there, they could get back, but I don't know. I guess I feel like Calypso, that is Disco eventually. Wow, I guess I'll be. You know what? No, I will make a statement.
Sure.
I don't think they will go back because I feel like that they're doing too much about moving. That's not a good metaphor. I feel like the season is moving forwards and accepting and doing your best and being Starfleet. And if they go back, that'll just undercut everything. So I think at some point Disco will, be retired.
Sure.
Subaru graveyard commercial type beat.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? But,
and a Netflix subscription and just watch these movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I could see them completing all those goals, healing the Federation, and then being like, well, my job here is done. I've got to go back and get a chili dog. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that it would be a continuation of the brave choice they've already made to have them just go, no, this is it. This is home. I like my dissolving bed. I'm not going home.
Oh God, can you imagine? Programmable matter. I'm really into it.
Yeah, no cleaning up. Well, what'd you think of the episode?
I liked it. I have a feeling about it, and I don't think I can defend it or describe it.
What's
the dialogue feels forced.
How so?
Almost every single line delivered in it. Maybe I'm cranky, which is quite possible. But I was watching it and I was like, I love this show and I'm having fun, but every single line out of your guys' mouth is just not quite right. Sounds almost, sounds meaner than it is. It sounds like a fan fiction that's almost right. They almost have the voices of the characters right, but they're not quite there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so. I had the feeling watching it, and I think that Discovery does this sometimes because their stories and what they're trying to do is so ambitious often that they'll often start the episode and they'll have a couple scenes where the characters check in with each other. And then they kind of, to remind the audience, they kind of tell the characters tell each other what they are. And we know that we already know that Burnham is Horde's responsibility and feels like she has to take care of everybody. But, Culber tells her that. So the audience remembers that. And they do that a couple times. And then they go off and have as many minutes of adventure that they can pay for as far as the effects go. And then kind of calm down, at the end again and go, okay, we figured out what we need to do. We're going to move forward from here. And sometimes I feel like when they're doing that, sometimes the dialogue feels kind of forced. I kind of like the dinner scene though. I thought that was natural.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I did like dinner. Detmer, can we sidebar?
Yeah.
Should we talk about Detmer now? Is this the Detmer portion of the episode?
We can do the Detmer corner, especially because it starts with her in the gym. And I did my homework from last week, and the first thing, my first like in the episode is the fact that even in the future of the 23rd century, I guess, they still have the bob bags for boxers. My short stint as a boxer, I spent a lot of time punching a beige shape of a man, that's weighted on the bottom. And there's no better technology than that. They still have those in gyms in the future to punch.
Maybe it's programmable matter.
Yeah, maybe it could be anything. It could be a Gorn or a Tholian or something
That would
else.
be way better. They should have had that. Is that maybe that's like speciesist?
Yeah, this is
It was like,
why isn't it general human?
That's rude. Yeah. It's like it has to look like you. It has to look like a white, straight cis man. Otherwise everyone's gonna be mad.
Kirk wants to punch himself. Fair. It's a thing. Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't he though?
Do you think that this is, before we even really got into it, do you think this is the end of Detmer's sort of trauma arc, or are we just sort of getting into it?
I'll be honest. I thought in that moment when they were like, when she and why am I only, sorry, I can only think Wilson Cruz. When Coleman. They were talking in the, God, thank you.
Yeah.
When they were talking in the doorway, I was like, she's about to murder him. It's happening again.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I was like, and I was sitting with my roommate, as sometimes I do, and I went, oh my God. And, nobody was like, everybody else was just kind of sitting there. I was like, oh, never mind.
Established a precedent, yeah.
I was like, oh, I had just a quick flashback. We're good now. Heavily concerned about Detmer. Something's wrong with her. I also don't trust the sphere, but that's a whole other thing.
I like some of the things that he said, and I think this is number 3 of the things that I liked, is that I like that he is settling into an actual role this year, and it seems to be the emotional facilitator, the counselor of the group, and he hasn't had enough screen time, really, I think, to show us how insightful he is. Like, he pegs that, he's got a line that's like, overachievers don't ask for help, or he's kind of pegs like, Starfleet officers, they're always, they don't want to talk about it, and they don't want help. And like, he points out that she's a pilot, and pilots are really macho, and it's same problem. And so I like the fact that he is sort of gently trying to push her towards seeking help. And I also like the fact that when he's talking to her and she seems sad, and we do like a cut to Oo, we do a cut to somebody else, and they all have kind of like a look on their face. And then we see like Reese and Bryce are just laughing it up, and it's like, they're fine. Those guys, everything bounces off those guys. No problems there.
They don't care. They are, you know what? They are literally the dudes. Who are the dudes on the Orville that sit right there?
Oh, okay.
Where Kayla and Oo sit. They're just those guys.
They're
like,
in hog heaven. They're fine. Yeah.
They're like, the synthohol's still here. We're eating. Everything's fine.
Yeah. What's changed? Just look out the window. Still space.
We're not still. This is the same as before, correct?
Yeah. It's pretty much the same. So I hope that this isn't, because it would be weak, I think, if it was like, I do need help. Talk about Hallmark movie. I hope that we see her go through stages of recovery, and we get more, because this is a ship of pain. People have been through it on this ship, and a lot
with her. We don't know.
Yeah.
Are we assuming that she just, generic future PTSD?
I don't know. I think that it would cheapen it to make it, control, or to make it, some other thing. But it could be. It's
Costco brand PTSD.
Yeah, it's Costco implants. I gotta get Apple. These cheap implants. We go to the Trill homeworld, and I feel like we see even less of the Trill homeworld than we saw like in the DS9 episode. I talked before about how there's a element to the Trill society that kind of scares me and is a little weird. And I thought maybe one day we'll dig into that, but it's not going to be this day.
Well, a little bit, the way they were kind of instantly like, rip it out.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, They have strict rules.
It's like how about leave it in there until Adira is dying and then you can take it back. How about Jesus? No need to kill a 16-year-old.
Right. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Longview, you guys have like thousands of years in your life, but take it out right now.
It's going to be okay.
But as we see with Gray's character in the flashbacks, we end up with a young woman, I think at this point, who is implanted with a Trill with all the knowledge of these other lives and the mind of her former now dead boyfriend in her. This is why Trill have laws, so you avoid things like this. It's a crazy situation that Adira does not deserve, but it will be her new, reality going forward.
Adira shows up. She's like, I don't remember anything, but I'm so excited to meet you. And they're like, die.
Yeah, right. Abomination.
We're going to kill you right now.
What'd you think of Gray?
So, maybe I misunderstood the casting, but I was under the impression that we were going to have a wonderful young non-binary character and not just a non-binary actor.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm conflicted.
Yeah, there isn't much time at all with the character to establish that, how they see themselves in that kind of part of their life. And I think it's unfortunate that, they can bring the character back in flashbacks or Trills, mind visions or whatever. But did we just kill like another LGBTQ character?
Yeah. Well, and now I'm like, the thing with whatever, they were sitting together at the end of the episode, and it's like, obviously she's gonna hear his voice with the Trill.
Yeah.
Or the symbionts, I should say, inside of her. But I find the whole why didn't you tell her about me? Pseudo hallucination bit kind of old.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm annoyed that it wasn't they weren't using they, them right out the gate. It was just as easy to say that was my partner, Gray. They, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah.
But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I'm feeling, I'm feeling odd.
I think it's tough because, this TV and movies are just so made for straight people generally. And, one of the things about getting to know non-binary people, transgender people, just gay people is getting to know them and their lives and their identity, not only as that, but as a person. And in a lot of TV shows, you have to so quickly characterize somebody and break them down to a couple things, unless you've got a show that's on for 7 years, like a TNG or a DS9. And so it's cool that we have these characters, but I wish we could spend more time, and maybe we can in the future, really getting into them and their lives and understanding them more, rather than just short hair, can make a quilt, non-binary, just being things on a character
hair.
sheet. Yeah. Gotta have blue hair. I did like the blue hair. The blue hair was cool.
Looks fantastic. Maybe I'm just, we'll say a young millennial or an old Zoomer, right on the cusp.
Sure.
But the flat out queer energy off of both of them, and in that scene, it just confused me because I couldn't with the pronouns. I was like, I can't figure out what we're going for.
Yeah.
Are you playing cis and straight, and you're also playing cis and straight? What? I really was like, I cannot check the vibe. But maybe we will learn more. You are right, and I hope that we do.
Love is love, even if you have no idea what's going on.
Love is love, even if you're straight, so it's okay.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, I think that we'll definitely have more time with these characters, but I just wish that they were both alive still.
Me too.
That being said, my it's number 2 on my list, but my number 3 is that I'm really warming to Blue Del Barrio, I think. I think that they are really starting to shine in this role. Hopefully, like, these 2 episodes aren't like their feature episodes and then they disappear into the background. But I was unsure at first. And I think what it is I know that Blue comes from like a heavy stage background. This is like their first on-camera role. And I, just having done that myself, I know how tough it is to... It's a different kind of acting. And there's a different thing that you do to sort of let the camera capture what you're doing. But I was watching them in this episode and just seeing some really great things and thinking, yeah, I think I like this character a damn sight better than a young Will Wheaton. Sorry, Wesley Crusher.
Oh, savage!
But already leaps and bounds ahead of where Will was at this point. Stand by me or no.
Yeah. Well, I also love like Michael is like almost a role model.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I like too, I like too that, like, you may be a kid genius, but reverse psychology still works. I'm leaving without you. I'm going to go. Bye.
All right, go ahead. See you later.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. I'm really, it's very fun to have them actually casted so young. Like,
yeah.
And, you know, it's, I feel like so much TV you go now and you watch it and it's like let's say Riverdale is like so uncomfortable because they're all like 25 playing 10th grade.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like none of you are acting. You all look weird and nothing's right. Versus this is amazing. And then so sweet to have like when Adira looked over at Burnham, kind of like lifting her chin up when the Trill were like answering or calling the ship and everything is so like wholesome and precious.
Yeah. I didn't know that the characters on or the actors on Riverdale were so old, but I can believe it. Archie's taking drugs. No, this is a statin. It's a blood thinner. It's fine.
Oh my God. They're so ancient.
I'm going to tell you the last part of my homework. This makes for a good structure of the show. Maybe we should do this in the future. And then after that, you can tell me your closing thoughts, and then we can wrap it up here. My last part was an essay question, and it was, why is this Star Trek? What about it to me says that it's Star Trek? And, you know, I thought about this, and I'm not sure because I don't know if there's any one thing that makes something Star Trek or not. But I can mention something that seems to be a common trait that I recognize among Starfleet officers and Star Trek heroes. And I've already kind of alluded to this before. None of them want to feel powerless or vulnerable. I think there's a certain amount of pride that comes with perhaps just being an enlightened human in the Federation, or maybe all the training and expectation that you go through and is put upon you when you enter Starfleet. But nobody wants to take a break. Nobody wants to seem like the weak one. Nobody wants to talk about it. And I think it's ironic that a character like Counselor Troy was added to TNG to acknowledge the importance of mental health, but then nobody goes to see her. Everybody's like, I don't need to talk to anybody. I saw monsters in the transporter. I'm fine. I had 20 years of prison memory shoved into my brain. I'll be all right. Just sharpening this spoon on this cot. And I like that that's still present in this show, but I like that they're trying to ameliorate or address that now with this new plot line where Culber's like, hey, come on, we got to talk about this somehow. And like Saru does his thing where it was cute the one time, but is he only ever going to talk to the computer now? He just has these conversations with the computer. But he Googles
like Tony Stark.
He Googles party. He Googles like, make your workers happy. And he's like, well, the answer is we're going to have a big dinner. And it doesn't go the way he plans, but I like that they're trying to get ahead of this. I don't have to, I'm a Starfleet steely-eyed missile man.
So if I can rag on you for a second, if you'll recall, the question I asked you was what makes it feel like Star Trek to you? We can think about that.
That presence of that trait in Star Trek.
The macho.
Yeah, the macho-ness in the Starfleet characters. Mm-hmm. I just put it in essay form.
I do I think it's hard to have in a Star Trek episode, you got 45, 50 minutes. And so
this
then
one was 55 minutes, but yeah. This was a long one. Try
and stack your sci-fi action alongside like the drama of many scenes where they're talking because they're all horribly traumatized is like difficult.
Yeah.
But I hope that there's some, because at least Detmer, if there isn't something like literally like inside of her implant, and it is just that she's screwed up because of everything that's happened, which is understandable, then she needs some work done. What do you think? What do you think? Like mental health medicine is like in Star Trek? You know what I mean? You know how they have it's like they never give you like an ibuprofen. They give you like a hypo spray.
Yeah, we have.
Like, do you think somebody just kind of like puts on like a helmet and it just zaps some serotonin into your brain and you go about your day?
It may be in the Dagger of the Mind. They're doing that in TOS. They're using the Brainalyzer or whatever. We've often come close to this, to directly diving into this subject on Enterprising Individuals. Next year, I will be talking with a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist about that specifically. But it's true. Like, we're told that everybody's happy. All the economists and communists I talk to tell me that when we fix all the problems that capitalism brings, you won't have all those problems, which is partially true, but not fully true. So I'll just say I don't know, but I plan to to find the answer in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I think you did a good job on your homework. You can have an A.
Oh, thank you. Wasn't even shooting for that.
I wasn't even trying to get an A.
A sticker for me. I think I've said most of the important parts. Anything else you want to say?
I feel good. I feel positive about the rest of the season, I think. And as always, I'm looking forward to the next, what do we got, 9 more weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So many of you know, I don't know about anybody else or you, but I'll be quarantining to see some of my family for Thanksgiving. So we're going to do a couple episodes from quarantine, which will be interesting.
Oh, right. I can't wait for that.
just crazy, just feral.
Right.
I have an actual tinfoil hat. I have a Starfleet uniform made out of just pristine.
What's that crinkling sound? Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's just like shiny. It's not crinkled. A single bit of it isn't crinkled.
It has to be smooth.
Starfleet
wow, this is a new thing. Okay, well, we'll look forward to that, but that's it for our show this week. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If you like what you hear, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at EISTpod for updates and to get notified when we release new episodes. Discoverage will return on November 12th for the 5th episode of the 3rd season. That episode is entitled Die Trying, and it features the return of David Ayala as Book. We'll be here next Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, so join us then. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook. In the meantime, to get notified when we're live and broadcasting, look for us at EISTPOD. In the meantime, you can check out our main show. Go to enterprisingindividuals.com. Every time that the show comes out, I'm talking to a special guest about something. This week, I'm talking to meteorologist Katie Nicolau. Katie is the creator and star of Fandom Forecasts, and on the show, we talk about the DS9 episode, Let He Who Is Without Sin. And I swear to God, I didn't force the weather woman to talk about the weather episode. She wanted to do it, but we have a great talk about that. You can find that at enterprisingindividuals.com or on Twitter at EISTpod, wherever you get your podcasts. Ella, thanks as always for joining me to talk about this episode tonight. Remind people where they can find you online.
It is always my pleasure. My main podcast is called Generations Geek, so you can find us under that name on social media and wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, my personal accounts are at Gondor Gold.
Cool. And you can follow me on KA1IBAN on Twitter if you're interested in following me individually. And that is it for us for this week. Thanks for listening. We're signing off. And this is Aaron for Ella saying live long and prosper.